This is the Orbis airplane, the world's flying hospital. When aviation and science came together, they decided to bring something very beautiful like this to take care of eye conditions all around the world. And I have the privilege today on the Street Reviews with Jay Sterling to talk about the biggest and the only flying hospital in the world. What are we experiencing on the Orbis today?
We're going to see one of the world's coolest planes, a fully accredited teaching hospital inside an MD-10 aircraft. Once you're inside, you're going to forget that you're even on a plane.
I think I would want to ask my friend over there, a lot of machines that they're working with, machines that I've never seen in my life.
This is a nice place, yeah. I didn't know there's something like this on Earth.
This is my first time being something like this, so I've seen a lot, I've learned a lot.
I came here to know what makes this stand out from the regular eye hospital down there on Earth.
This is the only world's flying hospital and it's carrying surgeons from all around the world, and they are operating on patients, training doctors to handle very critical eye conditions. And then currently they are in Ghana. And today on the Street Reviews with Jay Sterling, we are reviewing and taking a tour of the Orbis aircraft. So we are currently at International Airport, and then we are at Terminal 2. This is where we're going to go inside to have a very wonderful tour of the Orbis airplane. It's going to be a fun time today. I hope that you guys will really enjoy this vlog, like how I enjoyed myself today. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to a mind-blowing experience. I'm looking forward to learning a lot of things. This plane has been
Okay, so today we're taking a tour of the world's only flying eye hospital, the world's only accredited flying eye hospital. So basically, we have a hospital on a plane that flies all over the world to help prevent avoidable blindness. Now we know that 9 out of 10 cases of blindness can be avoided. Cataracts, glaucoma. I'm not an optometrist, but these are we have an optometrist here as well. So yeah, we just want you guys to come check out the Flying Eye Hospital, one of a kind, aviation and medicine.
You go see the hospital for the plane inside.
What are your expectations for today?
Bro, I want to see something that I haven't seen before. Yeah, so I'm very much excited. Yeah, that's how they say it.
Crazy, we can just see you.
My name is Maurice Geary. I'm the director of the Flying Eye Hospital. So you're all very welcome this morning. We're happy to show you around. This is Adolf Alonyu, who's our country director for Orbis Ghana. So did I get your surname correct?
Yes,
Olenu. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, you're very welcome to the Flying Eye Hospital. So I'm going to show you around this morning, show you the training that's happening on board. Happy to answer any questions you have about Orbis, the Flying Eye Hospital, and Adolf is here as well to answer any questions about Orbis's long-term work here in Ghana. So yeah, maybe we'll start with that. We'll start with this short video that we have, which just kind of, I think, is a nice summary introduction to Orbis and the work that we do training local surgeons and how that impacts the lives of the patients that they treat. So, play the video.
So many people around the world live like this every day. has a blindness or vision loss that's completely avoidable. Access to better eye care could eliminate most of these cases and be life-changing for individuals, their families, and their communities. Dr. Bobbisek has trained with Orbis for many years. Her journey started during one of our Flying Eye Hospital visits to Mongolia. For over 40 years, Orbis has trained hundreds of the world around us. Help us today to change the way that we see.
So yeah, that video gives just a brief introduction to what Orbis does globally. So we have projects in 11 countries across the world, in addition to the Flying Eye Hospital project. So the Flying Eye Hospital project, our focus is on delivering training. So we work with ADOF and the team here in Ghana, with the Ministry of Health and our long-term partners in Ghana. And we come with our project and deliver 3-week project of sort of high-level training for eye care professionals. So we're teaching ophthalmologists, nurses, anesthesiologists, and biomedical engineers. So looking to train the whole medical team that's involved in eye surgeries. Everything that you'll see today is focused on training. Here in Accra on the plane, we're doing all simulation training. So there's no patients coming on the plane in Accra, but we're using virtual reality, artificial eyes, all of this sort of new technology for simulation training. We'll also be sending a team next week. We'll be doing simulation training here again in Accra, but we'll also sending a clinical team to Kumasi. So we'll be working with our long-term partner, the Komfo Anoche Teaching Hospital in Kumasi, and we'll be doing surgical training there. So again, local surgeons, local nurses working in the operating room with Orbis volunteers who are delivering training. Anytime during the tour, we can actually start off with showing you the cockpit of the plane. So our chief mechanic Valerie is up there, so she'll be happy to show you the cockpit and explain a little bit about it. Get some contact with me. Just go into the cockpit 3 at a time, but everyone 3 at a time.
Guys, I'm in the cockpit of an airplane. How cool is that? This is where everything goes on. This is where everything goes on, like literally goes on in a plane, in a working airplane. That is crazy, guys. Just look at that. All right, so I have Valerie here, and she's going to tell us something small about what we're seeing here in the cockpit. Valerie, thank you so much for having me today. Yes, and we want to know what goes on the cockpit. This is my first time on an actual airplane and even in a cockpit. So yeah, if you can say something small about what I'm seeing today.
So thank you for coming. We appreciate it. This cockpit is what we call an MD-10 airplane. So the cockpit is an MD-10. It was originally built as a DC-10. So right now with the MD-10, we have digital instruments and we require 2 pilots to fly. All of our pilots are volunteer pilots from FedEx. So they volunteer, they'll fly us to a place, and then another group will come and take us to the next destination.
All right, so you can notice here, this is back to where we started. So this room is where we just have an administration room. So obviously while we're traveling on the ground, we need a place to just have an office and get some work done. So a lot of our team, like comms, logistics, program managers will, do the heads down work in this part of the plane. Now here we have our AV IT room, and this is actually a pretty important part of our plane. So where we just were in that front area looks like where you sit when you're traveling in flight, right? And that's true when we're flying the plane, that's where we sit. But when we're on the ground doing our training projects, this actually becomes a classroom. So you can actually see above the door there that it's labeled a classroom. It's sponsored by one of our corporate partners, the Alcon Foundation. Connected, we have a two-way video system and a microphone that's in the operating room. So we're actually able to see during surgeries on the plane the surgical view down the surgical microscope in 3D. So the eye care participants that are getting training will wear 3D glasses and they can watch the surgery that's happening in the OR on the screen in here. So they can also ask questions of the surgeon in real time. So remember we talked about how the whole goal is to train eye care professionals. So we'll have individuals who are more advanced in their career, working on really building advanced techniques, doing hands-on training in the operating room with our volunteer medical expert. And then maybe folks who are a little bit earlier in their career, more focused on learning techniques through observation, they get that opportunity to watch and see it from the classroom. So that's one part of what we do with this room. The other part is that all of those things that are streamed to that classroom up front also gets live streamed to over 200 countries and territories around the world through a telemedicine platform that we have called CyberSight. Real time. So what's great about that is that it gives that same opportunity to ask questions and learn to anyone who's tuning in. And so that's just one part of what CyberSight does. It's a telemedicine and e-learning platform. So we have a lot of lectures available there, courses, and there's even some AI technology that can be used to detect signs of eye diseases in seconds. So really speeding up access that patients get to understanding that they may have an eye disease that needs some care. So I have a question from these guys wondering, how do we manage the internet speed that we need to transmit things via CyberSight?
Yeah, it's a challenge, really. An obvious thing would be have Starlink connected, then use it. It's fast, it's everywhere. But as you know, we are usually off the plane most of the time. So Starlink has some limitations in terms of you can only cancel a certain number of times. So we don't want to pay it when the plane is packed. So sometimes we also ask airport, we have like site-to-site wireless antennas where we hook it to our site, then we hook it to their site. Then we get the internet from the airport. Secondly, we can get local SIM cards. We take a router, we set in that router, then hook it to our network and do our plane.
So that's enough for the plane?
No, sometimes in some other countries it's a challenge really, but so far in many countries it's serving the purpose.
It's been real hard to the country. I know 2018.
Yes.
Or was it 2017?
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever faced any challenge with like
yeah, almost everywhere we go, we face some challenges. Of course, the SIM cards are not enough. It's meant for, let's say, one user, but we are sharing with 100 other devices. So definitely it's bound to struggle. Yeah, but last time when we were here, we arranged that in advance. We talked to the airport and we looked up their network, and it was good. This time around, we did because we are only staying here for 1 week when everyone is here.
Yeah. This is Wonder, so who was just answering that question for you. And so one thing that he pointed out that's important is that, so the last time we were here in 2019, we did do surgical training on the plane as well. This time the training that's happening on the plane is all simulation training. So we'll see some of that in just a moment. We can share more about what that means, but that's one of the reasons that we didn't need to do the live streaming in the same way. But as you can see, the team puts a lot of thought and advanced effort into making sure that all of these logistics that can add up, right, are hurdles that we're able to overcome. So here, let's move in so folks can all see.
We can go.
Yeah, it's fine. And we can even go over here some too if you want.
Yeah.
So here, this is actually a room that has many purposes. Sorry, I'll move back so you can see me. It has many purposes. Right now, what we're doing here is the simulation training that I was telling you about a little bit earlier. So simulation training, many of you might be familiar with how when pilots are learning to fly, they first are practicing in simulators, right? And so they're building those skills before they ever take off from the runway. So there's similar concepts that we have in medicine. So we have simulation training happening this week, which is allowing our participants to build those skills in a safe environment through things like this machine here. You can see where they're practicing cataract surgery. We have some other procedures that are happening throughout this week to practice in that way, right? So that's one purpose of this room. Another purpose that we use this room for is when we're doing surgical training, this can actually become a patient waiting area. So patients, either before they get called back or their families, while they're waiting for their loved one to come out of surgery, we can use that area here. So right now, maybe Dr. Cody here can tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah, hi everyone. So right now we're using the IC simulator. It's a virtual reality simulator that simulates cataract surgery. And so with the simulator, as you can see, our trainee here is actually seeing this in 3D with the simulator. And the probes that we have actually simulate what it's like to do this surgery on a real eye. And so the students get a lot of feedback on how a real eye would react, and they get to see the 3D sensation that you actually see in the operating room when you do this in real life.
And then maybe we can hop over here to this station. So Dr. Omar is one of our staff ophthalmologists. Maybe Dr. Omar can share a little bit about what's happening here and then at this station.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Akorfa is checking the back part of the eye that we call the retina, is where everything about the vision happen. So she has this very nice device. We have exactly the same lens that we use, but everything is in this fake head. So we can spend time checking the retinal conditions, and we can see a lot of diseases. Many diseases like diabetic retinopathy or glaucoma, or could be other like retinal detachment, macular degeneration. Probably if you have visited the doctor, you notice that they use a special light to check your eyes. And it lasts for only 5 or 10 seconds, and that's enough. But for training purposes, we need to spend more time because we need to go to very specific micro images of the retina we need to identify as the diseases. So I don't know if Akorfa want to speak about the experience of what she's doing there.
This is the more like an indirect ophthalmoscope simulation setup. So you get the opportunity to see the retina all the way to the ora serrata. Usually in clinical practice, sometimes seeing the aura can be difficult. So once you get your hands on how far back or forward to move, it helps you to see the aura in actual clinical practice. So yeah, it's very useful. Yeah, thank you.
In plastic eyes, that is pretty much the standard eye that it had the same dimension. And she's practicing one surgery that we call trabeculectomy. This kind of surgeries is for glaucoma. Glaucoma is a serious condition, and you can be blind if you are not this disease treated. And she's learning. She's a junior resident, and she's starting with the first steps. And of course, with time, we're gonna spend the entire day. I'm gonna show her how to deal with the instruments, how to deal with the needle, because it's very small. It's thinner than a human hair. So it takes time, and the good thing is to do it here before we can start doing it with patients. So it's safer for everybody, but especially for the patients.
So some important takeaways about everything you've learned in this room. So remember, when we were in the classroom, the video shared that out of all the vision loss cases that exist, 90% of those are completely avoidable. And so what we mean by avoidable is that it's either treatable or it could have been prevented entirely. So with a condition like cataract, which is that first simulation station you saw, that's actually the world's leading cause of avoidable blindness, but it can be fixed with a short operation. For things like what we're seeing with glaucoma or the retinal conditions, those are ones that once the vision loss starts to set in, you can't reverse it. So that's why it's so important to get regular eye exams, get your eyes checked so you can catch those things early while they're still treatable, and you can prevent that vision loss from taking root, right? So that's a big part of what we do, is trying to make sure that we're helping people save their sight, whether we can restore it or making sure that they're getting that prevention that they need to prevent the sight loss in the first place.
Right, so and this is the walkway through the Orbis. So right from the patient room, move on to another room. You even get a view in here. You can see what they're doing here. This is a live operation room where they have a lot of the operations standing here. Currently, they're not doing anything like that. But you can see some of the doctors having a live simulation session with the onboarders.
So this is Dr. Maria Montero. She's our head staff ophthalmologist for the Flying Eye Hospital. And you want to share some more about what's happening in here this week?
Sure. So this week we're doing simulation training with our doctors here from Ghana. Inside this room, the operating room, we're doing phacoemulsification process, which is to remove the cataract with ultrasound, but we also have a station for manual small incision cataract surgery. So this technique doesn't require a machine. It's just the consumables and the doctors doing the surgery. So right now, everything that we're using is just like real life. All the instruments, all the knives that we are using, those are the real thing. Those are the ones that we use for a real surgery. The only thing that's different is these plastic eyes that are over here. So we have these eyes that have the exact same measurements as a real human eye. And then we're practicing how to take the cataract out. That looks like this. So it's very, very small. And you take it in one piece, you take it outside of the eye, and then you replace it with an intraocular lens, which is the step that the doctor is practicing right now.
I'm looking at machines that I've never seen in my life before, and I'm being honest with you, I've never seen this in any hospital. And then to think that this thing is actually on a moving aircraft, a plane that literally flies all around the world, and they have all these gigantic machines here. That's crazy. Yeah, so
preparedness, so before the patient is being taken into surgery, and then where there's post-op recovery. And this is an important area also for training our nurses on how to do patient care in those types of environments. So for that, I'm going to invite over our head nurse, Angela Purcell.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Angela and I'm the Associate Director of Nursing for the Flying Eye Hospital. And as our lovely Christy said, we do a lot of training in this room. We also train biomedical engineers, doctors, and anesthetists, as well as the nurses. And we also teach a lot of basic life support on adults and pediatric patients. Yeah. We also do children from the age of 2 years old. Yeah, they come on the plane. But we also work in parallel with the local hospital. And we will do younger than 2 at the local hospital. It doesn't matter what age, we will do them. But for the plane, we start from 2 years old.
Hi, hello. On this station, we practice some procedures to fix the eye deviation. So this is important for the participants because they improve their skills to later do a better surgery in the real life.
And I'll tell you guys a story from just being in Rwanda that really stood out to me about why this matters. So we had an older woman who came, and when she arrived, she was with one of her adult daughters, and she had such a severe case of, it's called ptosis, so it's where the eyelids droop, that her eyes were just basically only open, just a very small slit. And that's the furthest that she could open them. So the only way that she could see was if she literally held her eyelids open, or she leaned her head all the way back so she could just see through the small amount of opening that she had. But one of our volunteer doctors was able to do a surgery on her to open those eyelids, and she was able to start seeing again without having to do that. So you can see a surgery you might think, oh, that's just a cosmetic surgery, can actually have a huge impact on someone's life. So she had reached the point where she was just really needing relatives to take care of her. Her daughter even told stories about how people who would come into her home would steal from her because she couldn't see what was happening, right? So we actually got to see her realize that she could see without the eyelid issue anymore, and then see herself, what she looked like after surgery for the first time. She was just overjoyed, and she shared that she lived next to a portrait studio, so she used to love to take her family, all her kids, grandkids, to get big family photos, and after her condition developed, she was not as self-confident, right? So she didn't want to do that anymore, but I have a feeling that they've lined up for a big family photo now that her issue is corrected.
And then I've seen something on your neck. Can you come closer? I want you to walk us through what I'm seeing. I can see a lot of countries. So these are countries that you've been to?
So they're either countries that I've visited or ones that have been gifted to me. So a lot of them are ones that I've gone to with Orbis. So here we have our Ghana flag, Bangladesh where we were last year, Mongolia from last year. But then we also have ones like this. So our Hong Kong team makes these cute little pins for World Sight Day each year with a different design. This one was from our annual fundraising gala in New York one year. And then we even had, for our last project in Rwanda, we had one of our volunteer faculty make these friendship bracelets. Wow. And so I decided to put mine on my lanyard.
That's so cute.
But yeah, it's a nice way to just remember where we've gone. And then sometimes people just give out one as a way to say, you know, remember me, I was here. So it's
something very nice too.
Help traffic control. Okay, all right. If you tell me which way.
All right, so we just finished the tour on the Orbis. I just wanted to ask my friends a few questions, what they think about everything so far. What have you learned so far?
Bro, like, this is my first time being like something like this, so, and I've seen a lot, I've learned a lot, I've seen things with my eyes that's, based on, yes. And based on what we need to know about our eye and what like goes through and all that. So I know that right now I'll be taking good care of my eyes, so that nothing will happen to it because it's very precious.
What so far? What have you learned?
This is a nice place. I didn't know there's something like this on Earth. So I like the whole experience, and I've actually watched how they treat the eyes, surgery, and also met like amazing stuff here.
Do you think that you're taking good care of your eye?
Oh yeah, I do that, you know. Yeah, I do that.
Can you get closer?
Why?
Can you get closer?
Why?
And look and see the camera, sir.
I've not slept.
All right, I see. What have you learned so far on the Orbis?
Okay, so what I would say is it's my first time experiencing something like this. I came here to know what makes this stand out from the regular eye hospital down there on Earth. So I have experienced it.
For those who don't know, she's a nurse. She's hiding, but she's a nurse. Talk to the people.
Nurse. So this has been a pretty interesting experience. So that's it. And like he said, the staff, they are pretty nice. They're all full of smiles. So
I think they are doing a very wonderful job with the surgery. So the whole point is they come to our country and other African countries and teach the practitioners and hand-on, they equip them with hand-on experiences to see patients. So I think it's a very good thing that they are doing. So I actually commend them. And the whole thing is great.
If you had a job here, would you take over a regular job on land?
Yes, but not in a way I think, not because of the plane, not because of the plane, but because it's a community thing. So yes, I am interested in community work. So yes.
I mean, everything seems so good. I feel like here it's a very nice place, and people should come here maybe to see other stuff. Like the whole Orbis Flying Hospital seems so interesting.
Yeah. And this is another room where we met some very, very cool Ghanaians. Yeah, we're already doing a simulation there. So yeah, if you can see something very small about what you've been doing here on the Orbis.
So we've gone through different simulations for different surgical procedures that we typically do in our practice. So we have like plastic eyes, if you can see. So they're not real eyes, but they're meant to look like real eyes. Their measurements are similar to real eyes. And yes, so then we get to practice our procedures on the eyes. So if there are any mistakes we could potentially make, we make them on the eyes. We learn from our mistakes so that when we actually get to the real human eyes, we know that our patients are in the best hands.
Yeah, because to have an operation on an eye, there's no room for mistakes.
Yeah.
No room for mistakes. So I'm sure you go through a lot of simulations.
Quite, yes. There's a lot of observation, and then there's a lot of practice before you actually get to go and touch real human eyes.
Wow. You guys are doing something very, very amazing here. I'm not going to lie. All right. Thank you so much for your time today. Guys, I just finished my tour on the Orbis aeroplane. And then all I can say is this plane is hope in motion. This plane is changing lives of people, and they're training doctors to be able to expand that changing initiative that they've already established right from 1982 down to 2025. I am so happy, I'm so elated that we have something very beautiful like this, and I get to experience something very innovative and creative like this. Aviation and science coming together. This is probably the collaboration we never expected, but to have that opportunity to be on a plane like this that is carrying doctors all around the world to operate on patients with critical conditions of the eye, I'm sold. And then I'm totally mesmerized by the experience today. Today has been one of the days that I'll probably never forget. Today is my first time on an aircraft, and I get to review one, or not just one, the only aircraft in the whole world, which is the Flying Hospital. Here on the Street Reviews with Jay Sterling. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Orbis. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me do this amazing and extensive interview with the staff. I want to say a big shout out to Samani too for also giving me the opportunity to be on the Orbis today. And all I can say is if you're interested, if you want to know more about Orbis, you can go check them out on all their socials. They are very active on Instagram. They are very active on all the socials. Even on YouTube, you get to see some of the videos on in there to experience. And then, yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And as always, stay curious, stay techie, and I'll see you in the next one.